Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay overview showcases visceral combat, weapons, and abilities. 2 protagonists. In essence, our core fight mechanics are the same for Yasuke and Naoe, says Charles, but as samurai and shinobi, respectively, they each have their own weapon types and abilities that make them feel very different from one another. Despite Naoe's formidable stealth prowess, as detailed in our previous post, she's no pushover when it comes to combat. Quick and agile, she can make short work of a single enemy with her barrage of attacks, but as the number of enemies increase, she will be at a significant disadvantage due to her lack of armor and limited combat resources. At the opposite end of the spectrum, Yasuke stands as a stalwart warrior ready for prolonged, knockdown-drag-out combat scenarios. For instance, the last attack in each of his combos, i.e. combo enders, will break an enemy's guard without relying on posture attacks. While both characters can carry 2 weapons and switch between them in combat, Yasuke is also the only protagonist with the ability to switch weapons mid-combo via the link attack ability, which allows him to rapidly string together attacks and weapon abilities in a continuous flow. Yasuke has a few unique samurai tricks up his sleeves, says Charles. One of them is the sheathed posture attack, where he will charge up an opening attack while his katana is still in its sheath. On top of looking quite iconic, most enemies won't see that one coming if timed correctly. Assassin's Creed Shadows combat. The studio shared the details of Assassin's Creed Shadows combat gameplay in a blog post Wednesday. According to Ubisoft, players' choice of protagonist and weapon will dramatically change the combat experience in the game, with Samurai Yasuke taking an explosive approach, while Shinobi Naoe preferring more precise and quieter means of taking down enemies. Players can execute both light and heavy attacks in Shadows, but pressing and holding the light or heavy attack input will result in a posture attack, a charged attack that breaks through enemies' guard. Light attacks can be postured a bit faster than heavy attacks, game director Charles Benoit said in the blog post, but heavy posture attacks pack one hell of a punch, if you get the timing right. Take note, though, enemies will watch out for posture attacks and attempt to prevent you from charging them, so make sure to keep your eyes out. In certain situations, enemies can also enter a vulnerable state, during which players can unleash a posture attack and deal high damage. When it comes to defending incoming attacks, both Naoe and Yasuke can dodge to avoid damage. Naoe executes a directional roll, while Yasuke sidesteps the attack. Both characters can also parry incoming attacks. Yasuke, however, can also utilize a block mechanic to shield himself from melee and ranged attacks. When stealth goes wrong and full combat is required, Naoe may prefer to use the Kuzurigama, an extendable ball and chain attached to a scythe which can reach enemies a distance and push back multiple at once. Once some distance is created, players can use the Rush Assassinate attack to close the distance and take down an enemy up to 10 meters away. Finally, for pure stealth approaches, the Tanto and Hidden Blade combo allows for lightning-fast stabs, dubbed the ideal weapon for that strike and retreat, death by 1,000 cuts playstyle. This option unlocks double assassinations, the iconic takedown method finally returning in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yasuke's weapons are fully catered to cutting down enemies in open combat, as his basic weapon is a long katana equally efficient in attack and defense. Also capable of fighting multiple enemies at once is the Naginata, a 2-meter-long pole with blade on the end.